Hi everyone, back for some yoga, and today we are doing Yin Yoga. So if you have a blanket, pause the video and grab it and put it on top of your mat just to get nice and comfy and soft for this Yin Yoga practice. And then come to seated, bring the soles of your feet together and fold over in this butterfly pose. If you have blocks or even cushions, I encourage you to again pause the video, get the cushions or blocks and prop them under your knees. I normally do when I'm practicing at home. We were away for this video, so I didn't have anything handy, but it really does help to allow your knees and your legs to just relax in the pose so that you can sink into it and get the full benefits of this posture. Another option is to prop some blocks under your forehead, and that's very grounding and again just allows you to sink into the pose and really surrender and absorb into what you're feeling. And in this pose, we are curving our spine. So it's really a full forward fold to your appropriate edge. You never want to push too much in Yin Yoga. These are long holds where you just go to your edge. So as soon as you feel some stretch, that's when you stop and maybe even come back a little bit. You don't want to push too much in Yin. You just want to hang out in the pose and let it do the work for you. So we're holding each pose for a couple of minutes. And sometimes the challenge with this practice is just staying in the moment. So if it's very hard for you to stay still, and it is for me, it gets easier with time when you practice. I will mention that when you do Yin Yoga, it does get easier to sink and fall into this mode of slow hold. But there's always a challenge with a busy mind, things to do, and you always want to come back to your breath. So when you're feeling distracted, if you're feeling distracted, just come back to your breath. Focus on the inhales and the exhales, just normal breathing patterns here. And now slowly come out of the fold. Very slowly make your way up to seated again with a tall spine. And now you're going to draw your heels further away from you. So we're still in that open leg butterfly position, but now you're drawing your heels further away from your body. And this is called Diamund Pose. So the first pose in butterfly, we're working more into the inner thigh while getting the forward fold. And when your legs are further away from you, you're probably going to feel the stretch more in the outer thighs and on the outer sides of the legs. So everybody's different. You may feel it still in the inner thighs, in the calves. Everybody's different. So, but it does give a different stretch than the first pose. So just to, again, your comfortable edge. I say comfortable. It's always not particularly comfortable to hold a stretch, but you should not feel any pain. If you're feeling pain or burning or any sharpness, definitely come out of the pose. And you'll see here that I've just come on to my hands, leaning on to my elbows with my head propped in the palms of my hands. And that's my substitute for props, because when I do this at home, I will often put a couple of blocks under my forehead and just hang out there. And it's very grounding to have your forehead on a prop. So feel free to do that. Or if you enjoy the deeper release in the back of your neck when your head is simply hanging, that's perfectly fine as well. It's your choice. So again, come back to the breath. Breathe in and out naturally. And just allow the pose to unfold for you. Let the pose do the work. You don't have to push. You don't have to do anything but just be in the pose, in the moment. And that's the beauty of yin. It's really being still and surrendering in the pose. So we have another 10 seconds here, roughly. Take another inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, begin to slowly unwind and come up to seated again. And with every yin pose, you come out of it slowly. So take your time. Inhale, roll your shoulders back. And then use your hands to bring your knees back to center with your feet on the floor. And now bring your right leg bent underneath you, and then bring your left leg over. We're doing a twist. So come up and twist over, hooking your arm around the left leg. And instead of hooking your elbow in yin, it's a little more of a softer version to simply hold the outside of your knee. Keep your spine long here and twist over the leg. Try to twist from your torso rather than your neck, leading with your torso, with both sits bones grounded in the mat. Again, twist to where you find your edge, and then simply hold and breathe. You have your left hand tented behind you, so that helps give you support in this pose. Keep your spine long and breathe. Twisting, of course, is so good for digestion, and it helps lubricate the spine. It's good for all the internal organs. And continue to breathe. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Continue to breathe. Another few seconds here. Inhale and slowly begin to unwind out of the twist. Release your legs and come to the other side. So now you're bringing your left leg underneath and crossing the right over. Sit tall, inhale, and twist to the right, tenting your right fingertips behind you and holding the outside of your right knee and leg with your left arm. And in yin, we hold the poses for a couple of minutes, and it's important to stay still in the pose. So once you've found your edge, try to stay still, unless, of course, you're feeling any pain or pinching or anything that is more than just an uncomfortable stretch. If it's any pain, you come out of it. Otherwise, ease into the stretch. Just hold and let the stretch do the work. These yin postures and poses, I've come to love yin in the last couple of years. It really facilitates healing in the tissues and in the joints, and is just so beneficial for the deep tissues in our body. And yin accesses these tissues when traditional yoga that most of us know, the yang side of yoga, the holds aren't typically long enough to bring this good stress to the tissues. And in yin, the muscles soften so that we can get into the joints and the ligaments and promote healing and rebuild tissues. It's such a beautiful practice. So I hope that it's one that you can return to as well. Slowly unwind from the twist and slowly make your way to tabletop for some gentle cat-cows. So after the twisting and the forward fold, just want to move the spine in gentle cat and cows, inhaling to draw the chest forward and arching the back. Inhale, and then exhale to curve the spine, draw in the navel, and feel that beautiful rounding in the spine. You can shimmy the hips side to side, and then come down to lie on your belly with your legs fully extended behind you, toes pointed. We're moving into Sphinx Pose, and in Sphinx Pose, you're on your forearms, and your arms are roughly parallel, sort of like train tracks, you can think, with your elbows lined up roughly under your shoulders. Ground down through the hips and engage the abdominals slightly. You can press the tops of the feet into the mat or the floor, and then begin to draw those forearms towards you, almost like you're pulling the mat towards you as you inhale and lengthen your spine up and forward, up and out. Keep your chin slightly tucked so that it's almost directing towards the back of your head rather than crinking your neck backwards. So just keep a fairly neutral neck. Think of directing that chin back and breathe. So in this pose, we're extending the spine. And it's very important that we bring this type of posture work to our yoga practice, as many of us are in forward flexion and slouching and just naturally through the day have that in our lives through our work and driving and texting and eating, everything. So slowly come out of that Sphinx pose, curving up and then coming down into a gentle, easy child's pose. So here I have my toes together, but my knees are not very wide. I have them fairly close and my arms are to the side. If you'd like to take wider knees, you can, but if you're feeling any pinching in the lower back, then draw your knees closer together, okay? You don't want to feel any pinching in the lower back. And sink into this child's pose with your forehead on the mat. If you need a block, you can place the block under your forehead. And sometimes it's very nice to place a block between your heels and your bottom if you're having any discomfort in your knees. Breathe deeply here. Direct the breath down the length of your spine. Allowing the hips to soften, the lower back to soften down and lengthen and release. Always coming back to the breath. Back to the breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Just another few moments in this child's pose. Begin to massage your forehead in the mat, rolling your head side to side. And inhale, bring your arms forward, palms facing down, and begin to press yourself slowly back up into a seated position with your legs extended long on the mat. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Reach up nice and tall, and then gently on the exhale, fold forward for caterpillar pose. And here I invite you to turn your palms up to the sky. It's a subtle thing that may help you soften into the pose rather than gripping into the mat or the floor. With your palms facing up, it's more of a surrender into this pose. And your knees can be gently bent here. The more your knees are bent in this pose, the more you will feel the stretch in your lower back and your spine. And the straighter your legs, the more you'll feel it in the backs of your legs and your hamstring. So really, you can choose, this is your practice, how you would like to invite this stretch today, what you would like to feel and release in your body. Again, if you have your blocks handy, an option is to stack them on top of your quads so that your forehead can rest on the tops of the blocks and you can simply hang out there. Everything else is soft in this pose. Your feet aren't flexed. You're really just dangling and hanging, allowing the tissues to open and receive the stretch. This is a very fundamental yin pose. We see it often. And it's been said that the back side of the body and being in this forward fold allows us to receive. So think about opening up to receiving in your life, receiving peace, receiving joy, receiving abundance, receiving health. Inhaling and exhaling. We have about another 30 seconds. No, just a few seconds in this pose. And we're slowly inhale and come up out of the pose. And your spine may feel a little sensitive, a little tender right now. That's completely normal, so take it slow. And now we get the best part. You can simply soften all the way down now into Shavasana. If you'd like to prop a bolster or blocks or a cushion or blanket under your knees for comfort for your lower back, you can do that. And of course, let your feet just fall open to the side, your palms facing the sky or the ceiling, allowing your fingers to curl in. Just scan your body now and see if there's anywhere where you may be holding on, gripping, and see if you can let that go. Also make sure that you've softened in the face. So just quickly scan your face. Soften around the eyes and the jaw. And part your teeth. Allow your jaw to drop open. And that will definitely help you surrender in Shavasana. So we'll stay here for a minute or two, and I will just keep things quiet now while we surrender fully in Shavasana. Begin to make some small movements now, wiggling your toes and your fingers, just bringing some awareness back into the extremities of your body. Roll around your wrists and your ankles, and then extend your arms overhead, interlace your fingers, turn them inside out, and take a full body stretch from head to toe. Roll on to the left side of your body into fetal position. And stay here for a moment just to recalibrate. And then push up into a seated pose. Roll your shoulders back. Take an inhale and an exhale. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I hope you enjoyed this Yin Yoga. And I hope you continue to explore it. Thank you from my heart to yours. Blessings and namaste. Enjoy your day, guys.